Picture this, you've made it all the way through Tomb Raider 2. You've dealt with Venice, oil rigs, snowy mountains, monks, sharks, all of it. You're tired, ready for the game to finish, and then the game looks at you and says, here, try this. Welcome to the Temple of Xian. This level is basically the game's final exam. It's long, it's brutal, and it does not care how confident you feel. And that's why people still talk about it today. Before we get into the pain though, let's talk about how this place looks. The Temple of Xian has this really heavy ancient vibe. It feels old in a way that's kind of scary. Everything is stone, gold, lava, spikes and dark shadows. The tinge of red is everywhere. There's this sense that you're deep inside something you were never meant to enter. It's not pretty in a relaxing way. It is beautiful, but dangerous. Right from the start, the level makes one thing clear. This is not going to be easy. It's no walk in the park. It is a gauntlet. There's no warm-up, no gentle ramp. You step inside and the game is already throwing traps at you. Not just one type of trap, but all of them that we've seen up until this point. Spikes, swinging blades, lava, rolling obstacles. It has them all. There are rooms where the floors collapse, and where walls may try to crush you. Corridors that look safe until you take one step too far, and realise you've walked into a trap. And the wild thing is, the level doesn't explain anything. It just knows that by this point, you should understand how Tomb Raider works. You know how to line up jumps, how to read a room. You know that if something looks slightly off, it probably is. The Temple of Xian feels like the game saying, we've taught you everything up until this point, now let's see if you were paying attention. This is where the labyrinth feeling really kicks in. The level is huge, not just long, but twisted. Paths loop back on themselves, you'll open doors that lead to places you saw half an hour ago, and you'll drop down into areas and think, wait, I've been here before. And sometimes you'll only find out after you've hit the spikes. There's a constant feeling of being lost, but not in a bad way. It's more like being deep inside a puzzle box. Every room feels connected, even if you don't fully understand how just yet. And that makes every small bit of progress feel earned. This is also where the level starts testing your nerves. Because it's not just about jumping anymore. It's patience, timing, stopping yourself from rushing. The Temple of Xian loves to punish panic. And in this sort of level, you will be panicking a lot. Miss one beat, one jump, a second too early, or roll when you shouldn't, and you're reloading to your latest save. And that pressure builds immediately. I mean, right at the start of this level, you are already falling and sliding down a slope, being tested by the level's first trap. By the time you've been inside the temple for a few minutes, you already know this isn't just another level. This is the game's final statement. A place designed to push you, frustrate you, and test everything you've learned since the very first tomb. So now you're properly inside the Temple of Xian, and this is where the level really shows its teeth. If earlier levels in Tomb Raider 2 were teaching tools for some of the parts, this one is the test paper. Temple of Xian is absolutely packed to the brim with traps. It's basically one giant trap in itself, and it's not the kind you just react to. These ones expect you to think, and think quick. Spikes come at you from the floor, from the walls. Often, a lot of these rooms are timed, so you must act as quickly as possible. Swinging blades come at you from all angles, whether you are descending a ladder or simply sliding down a slope. The big thing with these traps, I think, is timing. Almost every trap room on this level has a kind of rhythm to it. This is typically because the platform you are on is going to collapse any second, and you must be quick at navigating through the room, knowing how to progress and where to jump to next. What makes this level so tough is how it mixes traps together. Levels previously will often have a trap room once in a blue moon. Do that and then you're safe for quite a while. Here, you're rarely dealing with just one thing at a time. You'll be jumping over lava, while each platform is collapsible, or running down a hallway trying to figure out what levers to pull before the walls close in on themselves. It's stress stacked upon stress, and this is where everything you've learned up to this point starts coming into play. You've learned how far Lara can jump, you know when to walk to the edge instead of running, and how to grab ledges at the last second. You know how to roll and move quickly. The Temple of Xian assumes that you are now training all of this perfectly, and then demands you to do it again and again. There is no room for sloppy movement here. The platform focus of this level cannot be understated. Even combat takes a back seat. Enemies do show up, but they're almost a distraction compared to the environment. The real threat isn't the enemies, it's the room itself. The floors, ceilings, the walls. Everything about the environment is against you. If this is your first time on this level, the constant pressure can be exhausting. But I find in a weird way, it's also exciting. You're fully locked in, paying attention to every movement and room that you enter. Few levels in the series demand this level of focus for such a long time. All of this builds towards a bigger idea. The Temple of Xian really is about control. Controlling Lara, the rooms and the traps, but also controlling yourself. It's about slowing down. If you rush, you die, and if you panic, you die. If you try and take a shortcut, you will also die. But when you slow down, read the room and execute a clean jump, that feels amazing. That is Tomb Raider at its very best. By this point, you've probably died a lot, but you've also gotten better, sharper and more careful. And that's exactly what Temple of Xian wants. As you get deeper and deeper into this level, you realise just how much of a maze it actually is. Not a simple left and right kind of maze either. This is intrinsically layered. Paths cross over each other, climbing up, down, and through any place that you haven't yet explored. You unlock doors that suddenly make earlier areas make sense. The temple slowly folds in on itself, and keeping track of where you are becomes part of the challenge. I remember at the start of this level, when everything is locked and all the doors are closed, you'll see a door and think, can I get through there? Maybe. I'll come back to this later. And then, 40 minutes later on, you finally do. That moment of recognition, oh wait, I've been here before, is, I think, strangely satisfying. It makes the level feel thoughtfully designed, which obviously it is, and not just big for the sake of being big. And of course, in typical old game fashion back then, the game doesn't give you a map. No objective marker, no hint system, nothing telling you if you're going the right way. You just have to have them instincts. Progress is slow and earned. Sometimes you move forward confidently, and other times you find yourself backtracking because you're sure you missed something. You see, there's a reason this level has such a reputation. It's not just hard in the physical sense, it's hard mentally. After a while, the tension wears you down. You start second guessing yourself, hesitating more, and becoming frustrated, as it isn't clear at all how you can even progress through this level. In my opinion, the level isn't unfair, just utterly relentless. It doesn't really give you long breaks unless you're stuck. Even when you do make progress, you're already worrying about what's next. The finish line feels far away, and the temple makes sure you feel every step of that distance. As you do progress through it though, you do gain momentum. You start to feel more confident again. All of your skills that you've honed up until this point are paying off. You're reacting to the traps faster, your jumps are cleaner and more precise, and you're thinking a few steps ahead. You begin to realise that this level really is a test of everything that you've learned up until this point. By the time you reach the final stretch of Temple of Xian, you finally feel it. There's a mix of stress, focus, and quiet confidence. You've been through so much at this point that every move now feels deliberate. You're not guessing anymore, and you're secretly hoping you're going to reach the end of this level. And that's exactly why this level works so well as a lead up to the end of the game. You see, the Temple of Xian doesn't suddenly change its rules. It simply makes them more difficult, applies what you've already learned, and puts you to the test. This is where it becomes clear that this level is really all about platforming and skill. You should have by now learned how to control Lara pretty well, knowing when to walk, when to stop and watch, learning patience, and more importantly, restraint. The Temple of Xian rewards careful play more than any other level in the game, I would say. And when you do finally ascend them ladders, reaching the end of the level, there is a huge sense of relief. You've done it. You've proved yourself. You are capable of conquering this game and taking on anything that is going to come afterwards. You didn't just beat the enemies, you outthought the environment. You stayed calm. You learned from every death. That is why the Temple of Xian is often called one of the hardest levels in classic Tomb Raider. It demands respect, precision, and trial and error. It asks you to slow down in the game and a level where panicking is far too easy, to trust in your skills and moments where one mistake can cost you everything. Looking back, I think this is why the level sticks with people. Agreed, it is frustrating and exhausting, but it's also fair. The traps, they require good reaction times, but you can get them eventually. You know exactly where you died. The Temple of Xian feels like the purest form of classic Tomb Raider design. Exploration, danger, isolation, and mastery all rolled into one massive labyrinth. So, if you've beaten it, you've earned that ending. And if you're still working through it, I would say take your time. Watch the traps carefully and see where you died, and try to improve on it next time. Slow down and breathe, and remember, every jump you make cleanly is proof that the game taught you well. And honestly, that is what makes Temple of Xian legendary. Thank you so much for watching my video on Tomb Raider 2's Temple of Xian. Please leave a comment down below. Did you like this level, or did you dislike this level? As always, please like, comment, subscribe, and hype up the video. Thank you to my members for your continued support. And to all of you, thank you for watching.